My name is Staff Sgt. Millsaps, and I am with the Burlington recruiting station. I decided to join the Army. I was 21 and I had stopped going to college because I couldn't pay for it. I was in debt and I didn't want to go further into debt. A friend of mine was actually joining the Army, and so she took me to the Army office. I didn't talk to any other branch because when I walked into the Army office, I just had a good vibe. I was the first person out of my family to go to college, so I wanted to finish, and that was my ultimate goal. So as a female going into the Army, my biggest concern was probably, is there any other females? Are there going to be any other females at training? Is there going to be somebody that I can relate to? Am I going to be treated any differently? And what I found was, I had a bay full of 50 other females, that were right there alongside me the entire time. And even outside of training, just seeing females and the successes, whether it's on Facebook or the training that I've been to, or even in my own unit, females have a place in the Army. We're not treated any different. The hardest thing for me at basic training, being away from family. And that was probably my biggest concern. But I was able to write letters, and I could receive as many letters as they wanted to send. And so it was almost, basic training goes by so quick, so it was almost like I didn't even miss a beat. I couldn't do one push-up when I got there. I was not in shape at all. And so they took me from this scrawny female who couldn't even do a push-up to now, when I finished, I was doing 30+ push-ups in 2 minutes. My first job in the Army Reserve, I was a chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear specialist. With that job, I have a lot of certifications, and it actually goes hand in hand with my bachelor's degree. So I have a bachelor's degree in emergency management. So all of the hazmat training and all of the civilian side training that I got to do, it just kind of boosted my resume. You work 1 weekend a month. That weekend is either 2 or 3 days typically, and then you work 2 to 4 weeks out of the year for annual training. With the reserve, during our annual training, sometimes you get to go out of state. So in my 5.5 years in the reserve, I went to Fort Bliss, Texas. I went to Ocala, Florida, where we did some training there for about a week, and then we convoyed up to a place in Georgia where we did more training. I've been to Kentucky, I've been to Wisconsin, I've been to, actually they paid for me to go to Las Vegas for a week and do some training there, and then of course North Carolina. So the advice that I would give to a female in high school or in college that is thinking about joining is go for it. The pride and self-accomplishment, the discipline, the respect that you feel just on basic training graduation day alone is worth it. There are a lot of guys in the Army, but being a female and standing proud and tall on that day is huge. So I've always said that the biggest benefit of going reserve as opposed to active duty is that you get the best of both worlds. And what I mean by that is you still get to serve. You're serving part-time, you wear the uniform, you do the training, and you get the benefits. However, you also get the quote-unquote normal life of being a civilian. Since you only work 1 week in a month and 2 to 4 weeks out of the year, I was only in this uniform, 1 week in a month. So the rest of the time I was in civilian clothes. I was, going out with my friends. I was spending time with my family. I was in college full-time. So it's just the best of both worlds. The people that I'm looking to impact the most, I just want people to be successful. Aside from everything else, I don't care what you do. I don't care if it's college or you want to do a trade or you want to join the military. Just be successful in whatever you do. Finding the ones who just need a purpose. For me, that's what the Army was about. And when I wasn't in uniform, I felt almost lost because I didn't have that purpose. And then as soon as I put the uniform on, it's like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is why I do what I do. So the people that I want to thank, I have a long list. My grandpa, he actually served in the Arkansas National Guard. And so just kind of watching him, I am the only female of his grandchildren, and I'm the only one that followed in his footsteps. My parents, my mom and my dad, they raised me to believe that I could do anything I set my mind to. And honestly, they didn't want me to join. They were completely against it. But they were so proud of me. And I wouldn't be here without them. So.